Heyo! Welcome to the Trash Picture Show. I am joined tonight by two awesome folks. Maybe another one, all depends. But with me so far, we have the awesome Monster Deacon, and down below us there is an absolute legend that is Wabenobashi. Guys, thanks a million for hopping on and discussing extreme anime and horror and extreme anime. Um, First off, just to open it up, it's October. This is the first of my kind of Halloweeny kind of streams, and yeah. So like the main thing is, I'm going to be doing different elements of horror from old Universal to Evil Dead to the Halloween series. But I said I do a follow up to an older stream I done about extreme anime. So there is going to be a bit of a trigger warning here. Knowing Deacon, he's going to have some stuff that will require me to have a trigger warning. But why, why, first off, Sadie, why do you think, and do you think anime, particularly extreme anime, is such a good platform for horror?
Well, first of all, I think there's a lot you can do visually that's easier to do with art with drawing than it is to do practical effects. Like I've seen some really gnarly scenes in horror anime that would be really hard to do with like practical effects or even, digital effects and make it look as cool. Plus sometimes I
Yeah,
feel like just seeing horrible things drawn makes them less horrible in your head or less
yeah.
like shocking.
Would you say it's more palatable?
Yeah.
Okay. And but have you ever been like holy shit or like oh that's fucking gross watching an anime? Is there any particular time that you can think of?
No, I'm a weirdo. Whenever shit gets really gross, I'm like, holy shit, check that out.
Yeah. um, Deacon, same question to you, dude. Do you think anime is a good, particularly extreme anime? Do you think it's a good platform for horror and kind of fucked up, kind of twisted shit? And if so, why?
Uh, yeah, I do think there is a good medium for the more extreme horror when it comes to animated series, and I also think it does a good job in conveying some of the horror that can be conveyed in it. And the reason I think it does so is pretty much agreeing with what Sadie said. Basically, it's the medium. You're able to go a bit more extreme. You're able to take what is inside your head and make it real instead of relying on practical effects that can fail or CGI that can look crap. Instead, it's the artwork that helps sell the gore.
Um, has there ever been like a scene or anything in an anime that's made you go, "Oh shit, that's fucking gross. That's fucked up. That's like."
Yes. In one anime, which I think, if I'm remember it correctly, is called Corpse Party. And yeah, you see a little girl being hoisted up into the air by two ghosts and then slammed into a wall at such velocity she turns into organ jelly.
A fine
Jesus.
red mist.
Pink mist, as they call it. Um, yeah, it's like the extreme anime, like it can go to places that like even and again I'm gonna bring this up. I might have people just kind of disagree. Like Attack on Titan, that that can go into fucking some horrific fucking places. Like
I
I
love when
remember
the
what.
Titans eat people. I know it traumatizes some people, but oh my god, that shit is so entertaining.
Is it because of the big goofy faces they have, or just some of the deaths or the reactions?
Well, the big goofy and how they run and just how derpy they are is. But like, even the part where I think the main character's mom got eaten, like when people get bit in half, it's just entertaining.
Jesus. Hot dog. But yeah, no, it's yeah, no. Okay, okay, we'll use that for a springboard. Do you think, Sadie, do you think Attack on Titan kind of classifies as horror, or is it more action fantasy?
I don't know, cause see, that's one that personally, when I heard other people, like when I was looking up horror anime, I was like, oh, I didn't really think Attack on Titan was a horror anime, but I have not finished it. I've only seen like the first season and a half. But like, I get it because it's like got some psychological horror in it and some horror with the Titans. But like, It doesn't seem to be predominantly scary to me,
Okay.
but I have a weird perspective.
No. That's no. It's cool. It's cool. You have a point in that some of it is more action focused rather than horror. Like I think at the like when the series starts, the initial shock value, but predominantly there's more about the intrigue around the Titans and the kind of overarching plots with certain characters. What about yourself, Deacon? Would you say it falls into the realms of horror, or is it kind of totally non-plus when it comes to horror?
I would personally place it in a similar genre as zombie apocalypse survival.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but would you consider it horror?
I wouldn't consider it strictly horror, but it does have some horror themes in there when it comes to how the people are mutilated, how the Titans are created, and how the people act. So it's more of a psychological horror.
I do know my friend Shan. He told me that the two of the guys working on it went off to do a really cool series, and I watched one or two episodes, and I think if I don't know if you guys seen it, Cabinari and the Iron Fortress. Have either of you guys seen
I've
that?
heard of it. I have not. I think maybe I watched a little bit of it because I liked the animation style, but I don't think I finished it.
The best way to describe it is it's if you put fucking The Walking Dead and Snowpiercer into a blender and set it in feudal Japan.
Nice.
Deke, have you seen it?
No, I remember you telling me about it. It's like I needed to remember the title and I couldn't remember it. Now I do.
Yeah.
It's the beginning. It kind of starts out in a place like in Princess Mononoke where they're doing all like the forging shit.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then
Yeah.
I'm remembering the right one.
Essentially, like there are kind of capital cities where the train can stop that's fortified, but if one of these cities are kind of, hey Revy, hey toy villain, what is
Hey,
anime?
Well, hello.
Anime.
Maybe says she watched the first couple episodes. Oh, sorry, Deke, go on, go for it.
What is anime?
Anime blatantly translated just means Japanese animation.
Yeah. Although a toy villain, I don't know if that's a genuine question or if he's making a mix. But
yeah.
regardless, thanks for tuning in. Regardless, but yeah, no, Cabanari and the Iron Fortress is pretty cool and is well worth a look if you check it out. What else was I going to say? Yeah, I can see where you're coming from as well, Sadie. That it's more kind of like it has horrific elements, but it's not strictly horror. Like yeah, it's more kind of action adventure. Flipping onto that, Sadie Ganst. Tell us about Ganst and we'll give you our 2 cents on it as well. Tell us a bit
I
about
have
Ganst
yet
and
to
why you
watch
think
the
it's
live
horror.
action version because of how much I love the original series. And when I started watching it, I was just like, nah, this ain't it. It's got some pretty graphic parts, but I've come to find out through doing research for this and thinking about things that I really like psychological horror, and I really like anything that you put people in desperate times and then see what kind of shit they do, because we all know how that goes, whether you're in space or the old west or fucking modern day Japan, it doesn't matter. But
yeah,
basically people die for various reasons and then they come back to play the Gantz game, and nobody really knows what's going on in the beginning, and just where it goes gets really dark.
They're kind of Xeroxed into this building.
Yeah, they're literally copied in and out.
I like the original. I don't like the kind of CG animated one.
Yeah, me either.
But
I was sold on the original from the first episode. One dude gets hit by a train and his head is flying through the air, and he's like, what the fuck are all these people looking at? Why are you taking pictures? Like, what the hell? And then he's like, oh, and I got that titty magazine. Man, I hope they don't find that with my stuff. And I'm just like, I like this guy.
Yeah, he is. He's like the cute girl I don't know would be friend be the right word. The cute girl like he meets in Gans who's tried to commit suicide, and she's like, "Can I be your dog?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And he's like, "Hey, I'll get into bed with you." And he goes, "Do you sleep with your dog?" And he's like, "Fuck." Ugh. But the creatures they're fighting are absolutely fucking terrifying. Like there's Onion Head, there's the
The
Buddha
green onion
statue.
alien is my favorite. Onions. Green onions are for me.
You feel so bad for it. It's like, oh man, until it changes.
Maybe some people do.
But
Dude, that's another time where something got its face just exploded, and I was just like, oh, that is entertaining.
I get what you're saying as well, because it's not just about like monsters or gore. There is a level of
It's
psychology
way more
and
about what's going on
psychological.
between the people
Yeah.
than the game, yeah. And I love that
It's
anime,
like-
I don't know if it worked for everybody, but there is a point where they make you want this child to die. They really
Yeah.
he is so fucking annoying, and then when it finally happens, and then the fact that they railroaded you into being like, finally the little fucker's dead.
I know, as soon as it happens, you have to sit there and go, yes!
Yeah, the one with his grandma.
It was kind of sad. I thought it was sad. Like I was like, okay, he's annoying, but like, did he really deserve that?
Yes.
Like,
did anybody deserve anything that happened in that? Poor old butter dog, man.
Poor butter dog.
That homeless guy.
My favorite part is where is it like the kind of the hot businesswoman? She's like she's like she goes to the younger guy, and she's like, "Oh, are you an otaku?" And he's like, "No, I'm not a fucking otaku. Why? No, it's okay. I'm a brother. My brother's an otaku. Like, look, don't be upset. Like, I understand. Is there anything I can do to kind of make you feel better?" And he's like, "I wish someone would fuck me." What? And she doesn't. And you're like, "Whoa, the fuck."
Like,
So
okay.
you're wondering about the mentality of these people as well.
I mean, times of danger make some people horny, I guess.
Yeah.
Survival instinct, preservation of the species.
Back to your original question of scenes that freaked you out in horror anime. I can think of one. I'm never a fan of like, rape scenes like Goblin Slayer or anything. Like that's just always like, okay, I get it. Can we move on? But I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right, but it's Rin, Daughters of Memesine.
The mezzanine.
Yeah, okay. The scene towards the end when the girl starts like mutilating her with piercings, that one got me to be like, no.
And there's a bit where she pierces her clit and has a chain on it and just pulls it. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. It's a good series, but it's I don't know how to explain it. It's like if Hellraiser and fucking if Hellraiser and 50 Shades or Hellraiser and fucking James Bond had a baby. I don't know.
I was gonna say,
how would you describe it?
The element. Yeah. I don't know, because I've seen similar animes where like, okay, we've got like an agency that does whatever, like Witch Hunter Robin, and there's stuff like that. But then it just has that whole other side.
You're like,
yeah.
Dee, what's your thoughts on Gans? How do you feel about it?
It's definitely one of those ones that is definitely worth the watch if you're a horror fan and like your psychological thrillers. But yeah, brace yourself.
Yeah.
It gets pretty hardcore even within the first episode, but if you can get past that, yeah.
Yeah, and if I'm sitting there going, brace yourself, it's going to contain some very horrific stuff.
Crazy fucking shit. Revy, come here. The two guys were asking for you. You should hop in if you want. We won't
Go
bite.
on, Revy.
Well, I can't speak for Deacon. I know Sadie won't bite you. But Deacon I can't speak for.
I promise Only if you ask.
But the thing is, City, you watched all of Gantz. Were you happy with the ending? Because the manga it's based on goes on for like fucking volumes upon volumes.
See, that's the thing is I've been told about the story from the manga, but I've never read it. So like, it's one of those things that's on my list because I want to know more. But then I probably will be disappointed in the series because I enjoyed it as a
Like,
whole. But like, I'd love to have more.
yeah, like I'm not going to be a book wanker and be like, oh, the manga series is better and it does more.
Everything in print is always better than anything in any other kind of media, just because it's up to your imagination and there's always shit that's left out.
Yeah, the good news is we're not a bunch of hipster purists.
Oh,
which is good.
Well, no, we're not like, you can't watch this. Oh my god, fucking Alchemist, fucking Alchemist. Well, the two fucking there's a civil war between Full Metal Alchemist fans.
Really liked the original Full Metal Alchemist because it was more fucked up, and I liked the ending that they just wrote because they didn't have one yet. I do like Brotherhood too. It's got a lot of shit that's good about it. But from the first scene in the original Full Metal Alchemist when they try to bring back their mom and how she comes back, I was like, yeah, this is the series for me. And then they do it again with the ladies who they tell her that they brought back her husband, but then it's that fucking mutated bird thing. Like, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, the original series had the body horror, which I really appreciate. The second series had a more coherent story, but it didn't have that panache of horror that we needed.
Do you think the second series was catering more to a younger demographic?
Younger demographic and to fans of the manga.
Okay. Deke, what's your thoughts on Gantz? How do you feel about it?
Oh, I said, yeah, it's a good thing. Something you should watch, but definitely brace yourself for some of the scenes in there. When it comes to the ending, I have to sit there and go, in my opinion, everyone got what they deserved.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, apologies. My head's kind of gone all woo-wah. But yeah, like, what did you think of the ending? Were you satisfied with the ending?
Oh, so satisfied. It's kind of like, yep, everyone who got what they deserved got what they deserved.
I'm terrified to ever go to one of those temples like that, though, because I'm going to have Gantz flashbacks. Like, oh, these fucking statues, man.
The Buddha statues are going to start killing you and your dog.
And the laughing Buddha's doing it by going, ha, 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 sitting on you. Ha, ha, ha.
Deke, have you any recommendations? Have you anything that you want to talk about? If you're into horror and you're into anime, check this shit out.
Let's see. If we're just going for horror with loads of fantastic deaths, then Another.
Okay, give us the rundown.
The rundown. A new boy turns up at a school. It's his first time there. He gets escorted to his classroom. And after his first day, he discovers that the classroom is cursed. And the curse is, there is someone there that's not meant to be there. A demon posing as a student. If you do not find out who the demon is before the end of the school year, practically everyone in the classroom dies.
So it's kind of an Agatha Christie kind of thing.
Yeah, but they die in very, very gruesome ways. The best one, which stands out the most, is the girl who falls down the stairs and gets impaled by her own umbrella. Yeah.
Scene.
Yeah, I seen that one. I was like, because someone told me if I like Final Destination and I like fucking anime, check this out. I've watched one or two episodes. I never knew the fucking premise of it. Do they give us a bit more in-depth kind of stuff? Like, what characters would you have favorite characters, or would you have interest in scenes or plot points? Obviously, the deaths are kind of the highlight, but what else brings you back to the show, or is it just the deaths?
The thing that brings me back to the show is the psychological puzzle that you have, because there's one student in the class that everyone assumes is demoned.
Mm-hmm.
But she's on her own quest to try and prove that A, she's not the demon, B, who the demon is, and to do it all before she dies.
Okay. And I'm guessing because it's a dark horror anime, there's very few people, if any, left by the finish line early in the year.
Pretty much. They do flashbacks to previous years where they show you the complete carnage. Then they show you half the students get wiped out throughout the series.
Hmm.
It's interesting, and it is definitely Final Destination-ish because you do get some hints about how they're going to die, but it usually does come out of left field and make you go, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, it does the Final Destination thing where you're like, "Ooh, is that gonna be it? Ooh, is that gonna be it?" And then all of a sudden, bam, something else.
Yeah.
So they'll red herring you with the ways they're going to die as well.
Yeah, so it leaves you speechless each time because it's kind of like, "Oh, no, you can't die like that. Fuck, that hurts."
Yeah, and then it's got like Danganronpa vibes with the whole like, we know it's somebody. Who the fuck is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's kind of like a very horror-esque murder mystery.
So I know you're a fan of it, Sadie. So I said I'd bring it up because I'll forget it. Perfect Blue, which a lot of people say have like there's elements of what film? I'm after forgetting what film. It kind of took elements from it, but yeah, Perfect Blue, brilliant fucking psychological kind of horror anime. Um, what's your thoughts on Perfect Blue, Sadie?
The first time I watched it, I was too young to fully grasp what the fuck was going on, for sure. I don't know. I like the fact that you're really kind of like confused as to what's going on, but they do, if you're paying attention, clarify it at the end.
Yeah, it
It,
is
it, it
very kind
makes
of
a good
Christopher
example of
Nolan-esque.
what like a psychotic break might look like from the person experiencing it.
Swan.
Oh, Black
Fucking
Swan.
Black Swan.
Yeah. Apparently
Yeah,
it was
Black Swan
supposed
is
to be
the.
Perfect Blue, and then they changed it. Like they even had the rights to it and everything.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought they were trying to kind of skive in the thing without. Okay. Um. Yeah. It does really encompass kind of the mental degradation of someone who's trying to become famous and having to deal with shit and having to deal with stalkers, having to deal with a psychological breakdown. Like you can fucking see Britney Spears doing some shit like that.
Oh my god, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much what would happen if you threw Britney Spears down the rabbit hole.
I mean, we pretty much got the real-time live action version of that, you know, when she shaved her head and shit. Dude, and she's been making TikToks and they seem like a cry for help. It's just sad. It really is.
I'm kind of glad her father doesn't have fucking.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just gonna say ownership, because
Controlled.
the
Yeah.
dude basically had
Yeah.
ownership over it. But Perfect Blue is probably up there with one of the best kind of psychological thrillers, not just in animated form, but in
Just in
general. It's probably
general,
one of
yeah.
the best. Yeah. Um, Deke, what's your thoughts on Perfect Blue?
It's definitely one of those ones where you have to watch it and watch it with a slightly open mind because you are watching it from the person who is having the psychological breakdown. You're not watching it from the observer, you're watching it from their point of view.
Yeah, it's kind of goes a bit bosh
Oh, yeah.
as it goes on. But yeah,
It goes into some very creative places.
like
It actually
I
kind of
know
reminds me of Paranoia Agent in that way. Like with the lady that's the manga artist that loses her shit. It's kind of similar.
Kind of, yeah.
I haven't seen that one. Sadie, what's it about?
Oh.
Same kind of thing.
Paranoia Agent. It's about a bunch of different people's stories tied together by do they call him Bat Boy? I know it's not Golden Boy because that's a whole different anime.
That's a funny one.
That is a good one.
Little Slugger.
Little Slugger, that's what it is. Yeah, and you're not sure if there's actually a psychotic kid running around batting people or if people are doing things to them. So it's all about just people losing their mind, kind of. And it's got a great like Enya opening. It's got the best anime opening.
If Gwandy?
Oh no, after you, because I'll pick up where you leave off. So good.
If someone okay, this might be if someone, that last one you were talking about, if someone wanted to get into it and they were like, okay, what kind of movie is this like? Could you compare it to a movie, or could you kind of say it's like this movie or that movie, or is it like we can say Black Swan? Perfect Blue is like Black Swan. Could you compare this to anything, or?
I'm bad
Kind
at that
of.
game.
No.
Kind of. If I give you an explanation from how I view the series, and then I'll tell you what it's similar to.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Right. Little Slugger. You have got a kid who wears rollerblades, wears a baseball cap, and carries a baseball bat, and he literally bats people to death. The problem is, think of it as group psychosis or urban myth exploration. More people who get attacked, the more people think Little Slugger is this big demonic creature. So more people commit bat attacks, blaming it on Little Slugger, causing the myth to grow, So it's a bit like Candyman. It's an urban legend that slowly spirals out of control and becomes all-consuming for the neighborhood that it's in.
Yeah, so it's basically this urban legend manifests itself and causes, it survives by word of mouth and survives by like people's trauma and stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
that's actually a pretty cool description. Well, I'm not gonna ask. One thing one thing with these kind of animes and stuff, with the going and more psychological stuff, we're not going to go into the ending because you got to go off and watch this yourself. You know?
Oh yeah.
Don't be looking for spoilers here.
When it comes to Little Slugger, go in there and watch it to the end. The ending you will enjoy.
Deacon, is there any other anime horror, kind of extreme horror anime that you think doesn't get enough attention, that needs more attention?
If we're chatting extreme horror, as in, oh god, I can't believe they're doing that to people, then yeah, I have to come back to Corpse Party. It's just full of no.
What? I've never seen it. Sadie, have you seen it?
I've seen some of it.
Yeah, it's a mini series. It's only 4 episodes long. Each episode's half an hour, but the basic premise is 7 kids and 1 teacher at a bit of a rundown school decide to perform a ritual, and the ritual takes them to the spirit dimension, where they are inside the same school, but it's haunted by the murdered kids and the spirits from 50 years ago. Okay. And they have to solve the puzzle. They have to find their way out, because otherwise they are slowly driven insane to the point where they kill themselves or others, or the ghosts become strong enough to kill them themselves.
Okay. Like, is there any particular scene that had you like, okay, this is for me, or this is fucking crazy, or?
Oh, the one that literally sold it to me is the opening. And the opening is quite literally a girl running into a bathroom, into one of the cubicles, to see her best friend hanging there, slowly being strangled to death, with another girl walking in going, "You're the only last survivor. It's up to you to find your way out."
Oh. Okay.
And it was like, yep, you got me there.
So it's more creepy than like gory.
Oh, it's gory. A 8-year-old girl gets exploded onto a wall by 2 other ghosts. A boy gets his intestines rammed out by a medical mannequin.
Jesus.
And the entire place is dotted with the corpses of previous victims.
Okay. I might check that one out. Sadie, what's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on Corpse Party?
I think I only saw the first episode then because I had a friend show it to me because I remember what Deacon was talking about the girl going into the bathroom stall. I just got shown it because somebody was like, "Oh, you know, you like fucked up shit here. Check this out." But yeah, I never went back and finished it. I think I might have to now.
Oh
What was
yeah,
it because it was too heavy for you at the time, or was just one of
It's
those things where
just
you forgot about
one
it?
of those times in my life when I was really busy and wasn't watching much anime or anything really.
Yeah,
uh,
it's one of those things like people tell you so much stuff, and then you're like, oh, that sounds cool, and then some shit comes up, and you forget.
Yeah.
Particularly
And
with
unless you
anime,
write it down.
yeah.
but yeah, it's only 4 episodes, so I recommend if you can find it online, watch it. It's 2 hours out of your time and a lifetime of nightmares.
Okay. Um, Going on to something probably not as super extreme, but still fucking cool. Vampire Hunter D. I love
Mm.
I love Vampire Hunter D. The kind of the first one, yeah, sure the animation style is kind of dated and stuff now, but I still like the look of it,
I
and it's
don't.
very basic. Uh, you have you have like it's kind of steampunk kind of vibe with like mechanical horses and some of the weapons and some of the tech, but then you have people living in kind of Eastern European villages being hunted by werewolves and other kind of things. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. My favorite character in the original has to be the dude who's like, it reminds me of Red Dwarf. Deacon will know what I'm talking about. The prison in Red Dwarf. There's one character. If you hit him, you will be inflicted with the damage that you try to inflict onto him. You know what I'm talking about, Deacon, right?
Yeah. The reverse penalty field.
Yeah. Where Lister tries setting the bed on fire and the arse of his pants goes on fire. But yeah, there's a mutant in it, and basically D tries to stab him with his sword, but actually he ends up fucking stabbing himself. I thought that was cool. But yeah,
I always like that
it's
trope.
yeah, it's like the ultimate OP kind of character. It's like that. It's like some arsehole makes in fucking D&D. Oh, if you hit me, you get hurt. You
Oh god, you're giving people
but
ideas.
next D&D, Sadie's like, oh fuck you, Mark.
Oh no!
Sadie,
Oh no! That's already in my other game.
What, D?
Oh, that's already in my other game.
What? Well, Sadie, what's your thoughts on Vampire Hunter D?
So which one was the original? Because when I was looking up to watch it, I've seen the movie, and then I saw another Vampire Hunter D that had wonka donk weird 90s animation.
The first one is very basic. D comes to a village to rescue this girl with pigtails from Dracula, and there's like Dracula's minions are mutants. There's one guy who like gets reverse damage. There's another kind of sexy snake lady. It's the
Well,
one
there's
we
one
find
that's
out
really
these
pretty looking art style, and one that's just like basic 90s art style. And whenever the basic
That's
90s,
the original, the basic 90s art style. The second one has a group of mercenaries teaming up with D to rescue this girl from a vampire who actually turns out not to be bad, and
yeah.
Lilith is kind of the main bad unit.
Yeah, see, that's the one that I like, just because mostly the art style, like it reminds me of the dude that does all like the old Final Fantasy covers and stuff, that weird art style. But I just like that one in particular because you can pretty much pause it at any point and it would make cool wall art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the anime is savage. The animation style and art style is savage. Like, there's one cool character who can like astral project. I remember that one. One guy could astral project and like fucking electrocute like enemies and stuff.
And
And
it's
like you
hilarious
couldn't
because
do it that
everybody
often.
has like Asian names, and then there's the one guy named Cody or something, and it's just like,
Yeah.
okay.
Cody.
And
It's like,
and as soon
what
as we
the fuck?
and every time someone I introduce into that starts watching it, they go, "Did they just say Cody? Does that mean he's the asshole?"
But yeah, what the second one I enjoyed. I don't know if I enjoyed it more than the original, but I can see where you're coming from as well, because the plot, while not like super fucking deep, is a bit deeper than the other one, and like there's no random fucking pull it out of girl's tit, like the first one. There's a scene where like the doctor turns out to be a vampire and he just rips your one's fucking clothing off, and it's like, okay, that come out of nowhere. Uh, um, Deacon, what's your thoughts on Vampire Hunter D?
I like both versions for what they are individually. The second one because of all the artwork, but the first one because of the setting that they have it in, with the steampunk horse, the grimy look. It makes you think of. I'm going to mention a movie here, see if people get it. It reminds me of Wizards, kind of like the post-apocalyptic magic.
Oh, the Ralph Bashki,
Yeah, it reminds me of that. Yeah. And I love it for that, because it is a simple animation, but they have got images in there that reminds me of Dark City through and through.
Yeah. Sadie, have you seen any Ralph Bashki animations actually?
You'd have to tell me the names.
Fritz the Cat.
Oh, well, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Cool World has a stupid ass plot, but that's another one that I watched when I was young, and I was like, "This is fucking awesome."
I remember watching this and thinking, oh, they done kind of Who Framed Roger Rabbit for adults.
Yeah.
Like, fucking Johnny Depp, or not Johnny Depp, fucking Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
As a detective. And what's the name of Daryl Hannah's character? Hollywood.
Yeah.
That was cool. Well, yeah, sorry, I'm deviating, but yeah, I think Vampire Hunter D is a classic. It mightn't be as extreme as the other ones, but both movies are fucking kick-ass and cool-ass. And as you said, Babs, the second one does, I don't know, maybe one of you guys know, the second one feels very much Helsing-esque, which is a great segue. Well, guys, are you fans? There's two versions of Helsing. There's Helsing and there's Helsing Ultimate.
It's the Full Metal Alchemist thing all over again. I'm a fan of the first one. Maybe it's because I don't like the Nazis, or maybe it's just because I watched it first and it has a badass opening also. I don't know. I just like the first one better.
And what's your thoughts on Alucard?
I love Alucard. I have a poster of him right next to me right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Webb likes Alucard.
Of all the vampires that I like, he's definitely in like the top 3.
And you are right, because the female character in the second Vampire Hunter D movie is very much like the kind of police girl that he saves and turns in that.
Yeah, and I totally didn't realize it till I went back and rewatched it, and I was just like, oh shit.
One thing I like as well is now in the original it wasn't the case. Maybe they've changed it or something, but maybe you guys can confirm it. There's no juxtaposed kind of romance between Alucard and her. Not to my knowledge, anyway.
Not really.
No, it's a straightforward partnership, not a relationship.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that, because like I think a lesser fucking creator would be like, oh, and she falls in love with the sexy, mysterious vampire guy. It's like, oh, this guy would fucking tear out your fucking throat. You've seen him fucking absolutely butcher people. No.
I felt the same way with how that wasn't like that with Sir Integra either, where he wasn't romantic with the females in his life.
Yeah. Because I think Integra Helsing kind of sees it as he's a tool, he's a weapon.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less. He's there to fucking oh, what?
Oh, I was just going to say, he's a pretty weapon. You can polish him up and he looks good, but he's still a fucking weapon.
He looks good until you see what he really looks like.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Like, he fucking, Deacon says he's pretty, to a certain point or maybe a certain angle. But there's some scenes he looks like fucking Iggy Pop with rabies. I don't know.
Dude, he's like the One Punch Man of vampires in the beginning, especially when he fights the one guy and he's like, starts to do like more of his fancy shit, and he's like, "Oh, no, you're not gonna do it back. I thought you were a real God, I thought I was gonna have a fight. Like, this is just disappointing."
He's annoyed. He's annoyed. There's no
Mhm.
sport in it. But actually, guys, anyone watching? There's 5 people in the chat watching. If you have any recommendations, drop them in and give them a go. Sadie, have you any stuff that you think is very underrated and more people need to check out? That's kind of fucking off the chain altogether that you think more people should be watching?
Well, it's not extreme horror, but one that I think definitely fits in the category of psychological horror that more people need to watch is Kino's Journeys. Just because there's some episodes in there that just really show like just fucked up what the fucked up shit that humans do.
What's the premise? What's the storyline?
It's just literally this chick that's traveling on her motorcycle, and she has taken over the role of traveler from basically her mentor. She refuses to stay in any place for more than a few days, and it's the story of all these places she goes to and the weird shit she runs across. And some of them aren't so bad, and some of them are like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, some of them
And
are
is
kind of
it
like,
set in a kind of
welcome to
fantasy universe, or is it a contemporary setting?
It's pretty contemporary, except for occasionally you'll run into like more like steampunk mechanical shit, not like really fancy mechanical shit. But then there's one place where a place got so scientifically advanced that they decided to regress because of it. I won't give it away, but
Okay.
it's interesting. There's a whole place where the whole town is built on a coliseum where if you want to make new rules or laws, you just got to win in the coliseum. And if you basically want to live above ground, you got to go play in the coliseum.
Okay.
And the
So
reasons that people
Kino's
go there is weird. Kino's Journey.
Kino's Journeys. Anyone check it out? Anyone in the chat check it out? Sadie gives it a good recommendation.
a recommendation from Sadie and one from me too. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen. Is it a new one or is it an old one?
Oh, it's older. There's a really good episode where she goes to a city where they have a prophecy about how the world is going to end. And then later on, she ends up going to the place where the prophecy came from and finds out how it got very badly misinterpreted. And like a whole war is going to get started over it.
Oh,
That's a really good one.
cool. So it's kind of like Kung Fu, Kane in Kung Fu. She travels around trying to right wrongs and kind of do stuff. Okay. I got to check that out.
I don't even know if she's trying to right wrongs. Like, she is a good character. She does try to do the right thing, but she's just kind of doing the lone wolf thing.
This is an old one. This is from 93, 94. It's called The Judge. Have you ever seen it?
I don't think so.
Oh, it rings a bell, but
essentially kind of like The Crow, but it's not that the person comes back. If something happens so horrible, heinous, you get at the pearly gates, you get a chance to ask for a judge to intervene in the situation. And there's one judge who's like super violent, and this mother, she's killed by her abusive husband, and her daughter is still in his custody. So she can only watch over as a ghost, but she asks, can she get a judge to intervene? And the judge she gets is an absolute fucking psycho. He's basically this dude who goes around in a bowler hat and like fucking murders people with clockwork machinery. And there's like he goes to a bar and someone insults his look. And he goes, you talk too much. And he pulls the guy's jawbone off and stabs him in the eyes with it. And it's like, whoa, this is fucking insane.
I need to see that for sure.
It's pretty good. It's like if the Crow and the Terminator had a baby. That's the only way I can describe it. Yeah, and he kind of ends up befriending the girl, and she's like she goes, you shouldn't be so violent. And he's like, I'm a judge. It's what I do. And he goes, look, I'll. It's cool because it's one of those. Maybe I'm just mushy as well, but he's a fucking horrible. He's not a good guy, but he's neutral to good, and like he does horrible shit. Like he fucking he rams a guy's head into a wall and just starts. As he's walking away, he's just scraping the guy's face across the wall. It's but at the same time, like he's really nice to the little girl and he looks after her and he tells her, "Look, your mum is there," and he can only do certain three things. I'm trying to remember because it's fucking ages since I saw it. He can only do three certain fucking things that lets him remain on Earth, and the last sphere he gives to her mother so she can stay on Earth to watch over her. That's pretty cool. He accepts oblivion to so the mother and daughter can like have longer time together. But it's so fucking violent. Some of the shit he does. It's cool. They try and run him over with a car, and the car just buckles forward. And he, as the guy's coming out through the windshield, he literally punches through the guy's
nice.
face. But yeah, the judge. I need to find it. I came by. It really annoyed me because there was a fucking an Extravision. That's the kind of blockbuster here in Ireland, and they were closing down. And me at the time, I was like, oh fucking VHS. Why would I want VHS? And they were selling the entire collection on VHS, and fucking dickbag here never got it.
It's always the way though. It's kind of like hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, and I have a question for Deacon and Sadie. And Revi, if you're still in the chat, let me know. Berserk, where does that fall? It's obviously fantasy adventure, but by the end of it, like, you know, where do you think Berserk falls?
Fantasy adventure that takes an acid tab at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like at the time what happened was like there was more anime that did shit like that, but like now if people go back and watch it, they're like, wow, this shit's crazy. But like it's kind of like Fist of the North Star kind of vibes and shit sometimes.
Yeah. But it just definitely just goes a bit extreme at the end, so it's like it took an acid tab and had a bit of a bad trip.
I've showed so
You
many,
don't like the ending?
I like the ending. It's just where they take an acid. It's just where it seems to go out of left field. Here's an acid tab. Watch all of this funky shit happen now.
What about you, Sadie? What do you think of the ending of Berserk?
I don't mind it. I liked it. I was just thinking I've showed so many of like my normal friends Berserk, and they always think that the fucking bad guy's a girl, and then they get confused when they see him with his top off.
What?
Yeah, I've had so many of like my guy friends be like, "Wait, I thought that was a chick." I'm like, no,
okay,
if they're evil in anime, they're pretty. You got to figure this out.
Yeah, and you do get a lot of androgynous kind of characters in anime. I'm not gonna deny that. Fucking AD Police. Oh, what's the other one? There's another one with a character in it that's like he's like the prettiest motherfucker. But he's super pretty, long hair, slender body, and it's like, hey, what's going on here? And you're like, whoa, what, that voice came out of him? But no, I like Berserk. I'm really sad that the creator of it died there a couple of months ago because that was an awesome story and it never got finished. And it just shows the amount of fucking stress and strain. Like my friend John is like he's a comic artist and he busts his soul, and he's usually stressed and stuff. But he says, "Oh, I'm like, dude, fucking mind yourself." He goes, I'm grand. It's those poor guys working in fucking mangas in Japan. They have a work like worse. They have like maybe 5 hours of sleep and just work.
Yeah,
and
they don't get paid for shit. Yeah. That's it's ridiculous. It's like, oh, everybody loves consuming this media, but the people that are basically part of creating it, no, we don't care about them.
Yeah, because they're not paying per page; they're paying per volume, and it's like, dude, paying per page. Come on.
Well, the part that's a problem with that is there's still places in like Hong Kong and other places where they'll do it even fucking cheaper. So.
Yeah. One thing, Sadie. One thing I want to get as I want a female opinion. Anime, kind of horror, extreme anime. I brought this up before. anime extreme horror anime that does go into the kind of fucking realms of rapiness. What's your thoughts of that? It's like, fuck that shit. What the fuck are they doing? Like,
No, like I get there are times when it definitely gets a point across, like in Goblin Slayer. And I agree with it. It was a bit much sometimes, but I was like, they're getting the fucking point across about what kind of creatures you're fucking dealing with. Like,
yeah,
you know, basically, as long as it's not drawn out,
or
and it has a
gratuitous.
fucking point. Yeah,
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 it's so
because with
it's like some fucking dudes doing it for titillation and stuff. That's fuck.
well, like I saw
Like,
one that was fairly well done in an anime that I was watching for this. Fuck, I forgot what it was called. It's basically where these people were getting summoned to fight demons, and then like the elder sealed them away, but when he did, he disappeared, so he left it on to like his grandkid. But these spirits are still getting summoned to fight the demons, and she can't figure out why because the demons have been gone for like 800 fucking years. And they find out that it's basically just from any human or group of humans going through something really fucking horrible summons
oh,
them
trauma.
just out of the pain. And there's one scene where a nun gets raped and they do the classic, rip the clothes off thing. But they did it in an interesting way where at one point they just show like what her view would be, where she's staring off at the ceiling towards the stained glass and shit. And like it's just wiggling the camera around and shit. And I was like, I like that they did that perspective. Like,
Yeah,
not everybody is going to think about that perspective, especially if you're not a lady.
yeah,
yeah. It gets the point across better. Like,
Yeah.
I remember one thing I found is there seems to be, and I still love it, and people kind of. I'm kind of I think some people kind of give me a bit of a fucking stare for it, but I remember ages back people used to love Ninja Scroll and the movie, and
Mhm.
then I don't know what happened, but just maybe its sensibilities changed. But people are like, "Oh, fucking Ninja Scroll! Ninja Scroll is disgusting. Ninja
I
Scroll is
still like
disgraceful."
Ninja Scroll because I watched it back then and it was something different. And yeah, I'm not for those parts, but like, it is what it is. Like that is kind of what it is in a whole. It's just dark.
Like I could okay, could you could again, and I'm probably not fucking, and I'm not trying to fucking make super big excuses or anything. But in feudal Japan, shit like that did happen. Women were like
Yeah.
accosted and stuff, not by stone demons and stuff like that. But that was like
I'm sure a
that
lot of
was
those stories were metaphors for shit that was really fucking going on.
oh
yeah.
yeah,
And
Well, that's like
the
even
other
in
thing
Perfect
is,
Blue, the rape scene, it was necessary, and they really got the point across that there was an acting out of a rape scene. So they made it even
yeah,
more like, hey, this is fucked up shit because you got to pause in the middle of it and hold scene, and then go back into it with a bunch of dudes you were just talking to fucking 10 minutes ago. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
So long as so long as it gets a point and it's not for titillation. Like again in Ninja Scroll, her skin is poison. That was the point. That was the
yeah.
point. That was how he was able to defeat the demon because she poisoned him because he was like fucking licking her and shit like that. And that was like that's how that worked. Like again, it wasn't just for fucking titillation. Like no. Do you kind of get annoyed when people get kind of hung up over nudity in anime and sex in anime, not just rape, but does it bother either of you guys?
I
Or
don't
can you see where
understand
they're
why
coming from?
people freak out so much about boobies, especially in the first place. Like, I don't fucking get it.
Yeah,
Like the more that you make it like a taboo thing, like the more people are gonna like make it into a big thing.
yeah,
Like
it's the big red button that says "Do not push" element. It's
yeah.
like oh,
Well, like I remember when my cousin went over to Germany because his stepdad worked in the military, and he was like, "Dude, there's boobs on the weather here," and I was like, "What?"
uh,
And after about 6 months, he was like, "Yeah, boobs, whatever,
um, I'm going to use this as a segue to, and I'm going to be dead honest. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, and I know I'm feeling Deacon might take the piss out of me. I don't know about City, but I actually really like High School of the Dead. I really like it. It's
I do
fun.
too."
It's
I
super
don't
fun.
hate
It's
fan
super fucking
service shit,
clean.
and that's a perfect mix of just goofy fan service on occasion where you're just like, okay, come on now. But okay, that was entertaining. And then
You
just
do end up liking the characters.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was getting at. Just genuinely, like, it's got a good story, but then it's just got that mixed in.
Well,
Yeah,
it's like Abusa, my favorite character. She's deep. She's gone through some trauma. Like, that's why she's afraid to use her skills. Because, like, she was fucking attacked. And rather than do it like, oh, she was raped or something. No, she kicked the shit out of the guy. But she enjoyed it. And that's why she's afraid
by
to
it.
fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that, you know, anytime I'm watching an anime and I'm like, purple character, I hope you're good. And then I was like, yes, I am not disappointed.
Yeah, I think the only thing about that series that I always found just slightly annoying, it's a really good series. There's just one thing that always gets on my nerves, and that is the fact that the loser fat kid ends up basically being kicked about the entire time, even though he's the one who's basically the brains and the armament of the crew.
A lot of knowledge and
I do like it's the classic trope, and I know it's silly and I know it's stupid, but like where the girls change and he turns around and just I love the smash cut to like blood just coming fucking shooting out of his nose. It's so fucking goofy, but it's so fun as well, and it's just it's pretty cool. Or the pink haired one, the kind of the kind of bitchy one, the class president one. She's like giving him shit, and then he's like, "Fuck this," and he makes a rifle out of a nail gun, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna stick with you because you know what you're doing." It's fun, and as Sadie said, it's fan surfacey as fuck, but it's fun. It's like girls with big boobies fighting zombies.
Booby bullet time though. That scene is so ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just and the bullet literally goes
the fact that they flap separately. Yeah, the whole thing is just so funny.
But yeah, it's good crack. Is there any other animes or anything that you want to bring up? Deacon, is there anything you want to discuss? Any more horror animes that you think need more of a mention?
It kind of depends on how far you want to go. Dead Man Wonderland?
I was just thinking that.
Okay. So, should there be a trigger warning for people before they watch this?
Yeah, definitely a mild trigger warning. Basically, I'll give you the outline of the world first, and I'll tell you what happens. There is a prison system put into place where if you are convicted of a crime where your sentence is life in prison or death, you're sent to this prison. And for the entertainment of the masses, you go through kind of like George Takei type adventures. You know the Japanese game shows where you have to jump across water on floats and climb up ropes and
like
things. Except instead of it all being soft, fluffy things, it's actual guillotine razor blades. It's actual guns. It's razor wire. It's dynamite. And
they were supposed to die anyway.
And if you do not participate, you do not eat. And if you participate and win, you get to eat.
And you can get upgrades depending on how well you do.
Yep. And you follow the story of one kid who is innocent of the crime he committed, is sentenced to this prison because someone else killed his entire classroom and left him as the sole survivor.
Like it exploded them around him, basically, and he's just in the middle, like,
Yeah.
Oh.
So he gets railroaded into prison, and I don't want to give too much away, but he bumps into the person who committed the crime while in there.
Okay.
And there's a song that gets sung in it that makes me cry every time I listen to it. It's the Woodpecker song. I don't know why, but it makes me cry.
Is it sad or funny?
It's sad. It's a Japanese song about a woodpecker.
Okay.
I think it's how she sings it.
Yeah. It's basically a melancholy song about how a woodpecker basically keeps on pecking at a piece of tree and ends up destroying their own beak, killing themselves and dying.
Oh, Oh, okay. Jesus. Um. Like so. Okay. And again, I know lots of people are going on about it. Lots of people. Would you compare it to the likes of Squid Games?
I still haven't seen that.
Or Squid Games is tamer compared to
Okay.
Dead Man Wonderland.
Okay. Definitely.
Yeah. If I was to give it a comparison, prison style battle royale.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, until the end where they start doing the one-on-one shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll definitely check that out. So, Dead Man's Wonderland.
Yeah.
Um. I know it's a Western creation, but I still kind of classify it as Castlevania.
Mhm. Nope, I agree with that
Uh,
one.
what do you think? Voice cast is brilliant, and the story is great. Deacon, what do you think of Castlevania? Netflix Castlevania.
It took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be a bit of a naff series, seeing as it's coming from Netflix, but my god, they have paid homage to the game, the anime style, and combined European and Western ideology nicely.
I really enjoy it. Even though Warren Ellis turned out to be a fucking dirty pervert, who likes to go on planes with hookers and shot himself because he was wearing he was on a plane with hookers. He took a bunch of coke, was wearing a fully white suit, got up to go to the toilet, didn't get there in time. Yeah, fucking Warren
Yeah,
Ellis, man.
yeah. So there are pictures of him wearing the white suit with just a big brown patch at the back.
He made
Brown
brown
stain.
pants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Never wear white, guys, especially if you're on a long distance flight.
Don't mix
Sadie.
cocaine and white pants.
Yeah.
Just don't
Maybe he
wear.
thought.
Just
Maybe he thought if he spilled it, it'd be camouflaged. Like, what are you going to
yeah.
say? Oh, Sandra. No,
He
it's like,
didn't fully
oh.
think it through. Yeah.
See, I'd sit there and go, yeah, don't wear white at any time. It attracts dirt and everything shows up.
Yeah, for real. I gave up on white clothes a long time ago.
Revy, who's your favorite character in the Castlevania anime? Actually, going around, Sadie, who have you watched? You've watched Castlevania anime, right?
Oh yeah. No, I felt
Okay,
the
who's
same
your
way
favorite character?
as Deacon, where I was like, they're gonna fuck this up. There's no way. And then I was like, holy shit, they did a great job. I'm very happy with this.
They done a fantastic
yeah.
job. It goes almost fucking Game of Thrones. Like Isaac for me is like Daenerys. He's like he starts off at the bottom of the run and he's traveling back to Reliquia. He's building up power. He's got more fucking demons. He's got a ship. He's got like he kills a wizard and takes his powers and stuff. It's
Yeah.
Isaac is my favorite character. Who would be your City?
I don't know if I have I just like all the vampire chicks. Like individually, they all have great little personality tropes. I love the style of the countess chick. I love the giant vampire chick. Like, it's just great. Plus, even the one mage chick, I like the story of her people and like that whole backstory, and then even like her sassy ass personality.
Serfitia. Is it
Yeah.
Serfitia, the kind of priest? They're part of like a kind of alchemist kind of priest group, monk group. They're pretty cool.
Religious order of historians
Yeah.
who pass down history via tales.
It's like the Watchers from whatever the hell. What's that one show? Is it Highlander where they have the Watchers, the people who watch what happens but they never intervene? Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Redby says, I really like the three main characters, but yes, the vampire girl's wrong. Deke, what about yourself, dude? Sorry.
I wouldn't be able to pick a favourite character because they're all awesome in their own right. It's a really well done series. But the one thing I will say that really sold it for me and made me go, yes, is when it comes to demon forgers, the ones who can raise the undead, they make you sympathize with them after a while.
Oh,
it's you realize
Isaac the slave, like, and again, that reminded me of Daenerys in Game of Thrones, just like yeah, you're fucked. You've got nothing. You're back down to zero. And then he builds himself
Yeah.
up. Sorry, Deacon, I could have crossed you.
Yeah. Oh no, but yeah, no, that's pretty much it. They make you sympathize for the characters that are meant to be the evil underdogs. It's like, no, they actually make you feel sorry for them. And you
Yeah, I
feel
love whenever
justified
they
when they
do
get
that.
revenge.
Like,
It's
who's the other one? He brings back a puppy, and he's delighted as a child, and his parents like are disgusted with it, and he's kind of shunned as a pariah.
Oh, I
Kind
can't
of
remember
thing.
his name, but yeah.
I actually I don't know why, but sometimes I think of you when I think of Saint Germain, just this fucking English alchemist who just fucking he just it's just I love Sir Saint Germain. There's this vampire threatening to kill you. You don't do this, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And he just backhands the vampire. Shut the fuck up and get back in your pram. It's like, Bill Nighy does not the science guy. Bill Nighy does the best fucking voice in Saint Germain. He's my favorite character. So balls.
Yeah,
I
I do like
him.
how he gets lost in the infinite corridor. That's awesome. And then when he comes
Yeah.
back, it's like, I'm a changed man, but I'm still gonna fuck everybody over.
Oh yeah, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and like the bit where the monk won't give him. Why didn't you just give me the fucking book? And he's slamming the guy's head in, and it's just like this guy. He really wants to fucking get there and save his girlfriend, and he's caved
Yeah.
in the head of the monk.
He'll do whatever
But,
it takes, even if he has to sacrifice the world.
Yeah. Before I round things off on the anime subject, I'm gonna like chat and let you guys plug your stuff because you guys always have awesome stuff. But going on from extreme anime, so Cowboy Bebop, two things have kind of come up. Basically, Ed isn't going to feature in it. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm very sad.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing.
Do you think it's kind of they're worried about representing someone? I always thought Ed had like ADD or autism or something.
Yeah, it was
And I
on the
think maybe they
spectrum
were
of
worried
some
about
sort.
representing that. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's a point I never
like-
thought about until you brought it up.
But I don't know if you got a good enough actor. Like I just it's a character like that character is a character mainstay. Like you know, you have fucking Ainz in it. Like I'd leave
Yeah.
Ainz out before I'd leave fucking Ed out. But again, Ainz is great as well. Like particularly like him in the
I think
episode.
the reason
Poison
I
the
love
Attic.
corgis.
Yeah, he's brilliant. What do you think? Can you understand? Can you understand, or do you think they should try and maybe if they do a second season, they should bring him in? What do you think, Sadie?
If they do a second, they better fucking bring Ed in. Like if this succeeds, they better because I can see how they could get away with not having her in right away just because of how the story was in the original series. Like I get there's a lot of stuff that you can pull from when she wasn't there, but like she's such an iconic character and just so great.
Yeah, it's like she's a flagstone character in the series. I don't want to see how leaving her out. Like again, if you're worried about representation of someone with like someone who's on the spectrum, I can understand that. But find a way around it. Find a really good actor. Change the character if needs be.
Or find an actor who is on the
still have a
spectrum.
hyperactive. Yeah, Deke, what do you think? Do you think it's wrong that they left out the character, or do you think you can understand where they're coming from?
Seeing as they're trying to make a live action series of Cowboy Bebop, I can see why they left Ed out for now, just for the simple basis that we are currently still in the what's the word? Outcry culture.
Yeah, it's still enough of a shit show as it is without adding more to it.
Yeah, so I think if season 1 does well, then they should be able to introduce Ed because they would have tested the waters and they would have gone, yeah, we can introduce her now and hopefully not get a lot of hate for it. We'd rather get hate for not having her in and demand we put her in than hate for not doing her right.
Yeah.
Speaking of outcry culture, again, Sadie, I hate to be always doing this with yourself, but again, a lady's perspective. But Daniel Pineda kind of give out, kind of give a bollock to fans because her costume is different, and she was kind of saying that like fans are losers or perverts. What's your thoughts on that? And you think it was? Could you understand or empathize, or do you think she went overboard? Or what's your thoughts?
I mean, sometimes I think my perspective's a bit skewed just because I've been a fan of anime and like video games for so long, and having females in skimpier attire has just kind of become a thing that I've gotten used to. But with Faye, her outfit wasn't that bad, and it made sense.
No.
She was like the sexy spy kind of chick. Like she's going to use her appearance to her advantage. That's just part of
she was a
thing.
grifter. She
Yeah.
was a grifter. You're busy looking at like her legs or her chest or something, and she's fucking pickpocketing you, or she's fucking.
Nobody sees her as a threat.
Yeah, and like one thing I loved was she had these ankle bracelets that were magnetic, and when she shook them, it would like mess around with dice or it'd mess around with a roulette table or something. I thought that was really cool. Again, I think her costume was the whole point of the costume was like misdirection. The only thing I love what you are annoyed about with the live action version of the costume. She's got no hairband or hair.
Yes, the fact that Faye does not have her headband, her fucking because that's not like a sexual thing. It's part of her fucking character. Just put the goddamn headband on her.
What do you reckon, Deacon? Do you think it's a load of nonsense, or do you think you could understand where she's coming from?
I think it's a load of nonsense because then Scarlett Johansson's going to have to turn around and have a go at everyone who dresses like Black Widow.
Yeah, it's like it's a character. Don't fucking. And then you're one getting annoyed with going, oh, like women, real life women would never degrade themselves with such a look. And then the fans were like putting up cosplayer pictures.
There's so many amazing cosplays. Yeah.
But
yeah, I have to agree with what happens on the hairband thing, though. If you're going to do a series, if you're going to copy characters, then you have to copy their character traits. And for her, it's the fucking hairband.
It's part of it. Yeah.
They just seem to
Reggie,
remove
do you
part
want
of
to
the
come in
character.
for the last? Do you want to come in for the last couple of minutes and give your 2 cents? Come on.
Yeah, join us, Reggie. Come on.
We won't.
One of us.
We won't eat you. If you want to come in for the last couple of minutes, because I know you've got a perspective on this. But yeah, it's just it's like.
Well, it's not like she has to wear like a Borat swimsuit because there are plenty of anime where there's girls wearing like basically that outfit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, all you got to do is look at. Yeah, and even looking at Western comic books. I mean, look, you got Power Girl. She's basically wearing a leotard that has a big hole over her boobies.
Yeah, isn't Wonder Girl or whatever the same thing? It's like a turtleneck with a big old cleavage hole.
Yeah, so it's kind of like we've sexualized people before in costumes, even the male ones, where we put them in skin tight things to say, look, they have muscles, they have.
We've all decided that's what is it? Spandex is aerodynamic and the best thing to wear for fighting crime.
Yeah, just don't fart in it because the air gets trapped.
Or God help you, don't have like a shart just start leaking, start sifting through.
And and in that case, don't wear a white outfit.
R.I.P. Warren Ellis's fashion sense. So, guys, before I finish up, because you're awesome as always, and it's awesome to have you on. Deacon, what's next on the agenda for the monster from the land of the UK?
At the moment, not much. I'm waiting for a kick up the butt from the dear Wab because she's going to get me on an editing project, and I need something to get my juices going. So it will be a surprise project for the Wabs.
Sweet beans. Speaking of Sadie, what do you got going on? Have you streams, games? Can you tell us? Can you hint to us what Deacon's working on, or do you want to leave it as a surprise?
No, actually, I can tell you, it's gonna take a while to put it together, but me and some of my friends are gonna read some of the stories from the game Genshin Impact because it's got a bunch of books in it, and the stories are actually pretty good. So I was like, "Fuck it,
Okay.
let's read some," and then Deacon can make it all work.
Yeah, edit it
Nice,
together,
that's-
make it splice so it's in order.
Sweet. Hey, gorgeous. Jen is in the chat. She says this stream has made me want to get into anime. It's an awesome stream. Also, Revy reviews. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Some other time. Poor Revy's probably busy, and she's probably sick of me annoying her. But also, Sadie, have you any streams on Twitch or DJing or anything coming up that you want to plug?
Tomorrow we should be playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
In the afternoon. If we're not playing D&D, I'll definitely be streaming something. And then the next thing officially planned is I'll be doing Ethel's watch along on Friday and then streaming probably New World after because I'm addicted to it now.
Sweet. Guys, if you can check out Wabenobashi on Twitch. I'll actually leave a link to it in the description once I edit this video. And yeah, that's it. Again, guys, thanks a million for coming on. I probably dipped quickly in and out of stuff. You probably wanted maybe to talk more about it, did you? Or
No, dude, it's your rodeo, and we're happy to play along.
like again, thanks a million because like you guys, when it comes to this, you guys know your stuff. And yeah, check out Deacon and check out Sadie on Twitter as well. They're both on Twitter. And again, check out Sadie's Twitch because it's great crack. She has great fun with people, and yeah, awesome lady and an awesome guy next to me here. So yeah, next week, guys, we're going to be talking about the Universal monsters from the original Frankenstein to the Invisible Man, and how maybe they've influenced stuff in a good way, like how we may not actually have had the Marvel movies if it wasn't for the Universal monsters. So yeah, tune in next Sunday for that, and yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.
Stay creepy. Bye.
Bye bye.